Funny, scary, stressful, but in the end, all good moments. Today I want to tell you about some of the adventures I have been on. Some with my ventilator and some before. When you have a medical condition like mine, and still have a sense of adventure, you can put yourself in some precarious situations. Let's start out with some nice moments of inclusion when I was younger. You all know by now I love sports, so in elementary school I always wanted to compete even though it was a challenge. So a great teacher, Jim Ryan, knew this and gave me the chance to compete. So I was on the basketball team. All I could do was drive my chair but nothing else. So my job was to carry the ball up the court on my lap. Another teammate would take it from me and they would go from there. Another sport I was involved in because of him was track and field. I would enter the races and drive my chair as everyone else was running. I always finished last, but had fun doing it. I also used to be the road hockey goalie for my friends on our street. I never made many saves, but gave my friends lots of practice for their hockey careers. Some other stories that I think of is the first time I got an electric wheelchair, so I'm outside at my house driving around, and I ended up looking up into a tree. My chair had hit the base of the tree and flipped back. That was my last attempt at climbing a tree, lol. Later that evening, I believe, I was sitting on our porch and my chair went out of control. It would not stop spinning around in circles. We got my chair shut off before anything bad happened, but the indoor-outdoor carpet was ripped to shreds. When I was about 10, I went camp for a week in the summer. They had young students there and didn't really understand the full extent of my condition. So I'm in the pool with a life jacket on, but my body tipped forward and I was face down on top of the water. But I didn't have enough muscles in my head to keep it up. Survived but never went back to camp. Haha. Junior high now, I wasn't allowed to play intramural sports, because I would have gotten hurt, but was allowed to play soccer baseball in class. One time I got the ball right in the face. That didn't feel great, but at least the person was out. Now it's post-ventilator. I think my first trip out in public was to Walmart. And of course, my ventilator hose decided to come apart. So I'm sitting there, my alarm is going off, I can't breathe. We found where it disconnected and fixed it. So much for not trying to stick out in a crowd. One summer I had a friend helping me out, so every day we would try to go golfing. I would drive around and watch my friends golf. But one day a rain shower came up and I got soaked. To those of you who don't know, a ventilator is the last thing you want to get wet. We kept it dry but me not so much. After that I didn't go golfing for a while. And then one day me, my friend and my cousin decided to go to a local course. That day ended up with us getting kicked off the course because apparently my chair damaged the course. My chair is not as heavy as a golf cart. This guy just wasn't very nice. I might have been a little mad that day, but we did leave. Now some hunting stories. One fall me and my friend were hunting every day. Some of the best days of my life. But one time we were about an hour away from home, and my hose had all these holes in it and I couldn't really breathe. We may have drove a little fast but got home and got a new hose. Another time we were driving the van, and the whole axle came off. That day we had to come home on the back of a tow truck. A few other times we got stuck but always managed to get out. Some of our trophies from hunting were lots of ducks, partridge, a deer, and a huge moose. I will show everyone some pictures sometime. I have also had some disagreements with some local parking attendants. Sometimes they don't like to help disabled people find a reasonable parking spot close to a building, but it usually works out. A lot of times when I go to places that aren't accessible, we had to improvise with a board that we took everywhere. I have gone up and down some scary angles with that board, to get into some local poker games at friends' houses, but it gets the job done. My point today is, sometimes a person ends up in some difficult situations, but there is usually an answer and way out of it. I'm fortunate to have great people around want me to help take me on adventures and get me home safely. So if you can, get out there, disability or not, and go on some fun adventures. Because we only live once. My sports picks today are Pittsburgh Penguins, San Antonio Spurs, and the Chicago Bulls. My quote of the day is by William Feather, and it says, "One way to get the most out of life is to look upon it as an adventure."
Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Have a good one.